Now, for those of you who don't know, the Black Knight satellite is believed to be an artificial alien object or satellite that has been orbiting the Earth since the 50s, or at least it was first discovered in the 50s. It's believed to be around 13,000 years old and is of an extraterrestrial origin, and it's orbiting us right now in near polar Earth orbit. In 1954, when newspapers including the St. Louis Post-Dispatch and the San Francisco Examiner ran stories attributed to retired naval aviation major and UFO researcher Donald Kehoe, saying that the U.S. Air Force had reported that 2 satellites orbiting Earth had been detected. The problem is that at this time, no one had the technology to launch a satellite. In February 1960, there was a further claim by Time that the U.S. Navy had detected a dark object orbiting Earth that they had first thought was a Soviet spy satellite in orbit, inclined at 79 degrees from the equator with an orbital period of 104.5 minutes. Its orbit was also highly eccentric, with an apogee of 1,728 kilometers and a perigee of only 216 kilometers. Not only that, but in tracking the object, it was noted that this satellite would change its orbit from day to day, as if to be under intelligent control. This thing was moving in space and changing its course while it orbited Earth, to the point that they couldn't track it, or its next move. They didn't know what this thing was, and they still don't, and the government has been fast to try to cover it up. In 1998, an object was photographed, and some NASA images from the STS-88 mission, which have been widely known and seen as one of the best pieces of photographic UFO evidence that we have depicting the Black Knight in all of its wonder and mystery. According to the NASA trolls, who I guess truly believe that we are as stupid as they think, claim that what you're seeing here in this NASA image from the ST-88 mission, which by the way is an obvious, hard, structured craft with detailed characteristics, is probably, and I quote, a thermal blanket that was confirmed lost during an EVA. So real quick before we continue, here is a list of some facts and info about the Black Knight satellite that will bring you up to speed on the entire deal and help you in your own research. According to monitoring agencies around the world, the Black Knight satellite has been transmitting radio signals for over 50 years now. The USA and Soviet Union have shown particular interest in this unidentified space object. Rumors are that it was Nikola Tesla, the first man to intercept a signal from the Black Knight satellite in 1899 after building a high-voltage radio device in Colorado Springs. Since the 1930s, astronomers worldwide have been reporting strange radio signals which allegedly come from the Black Knight. In 1957, an unknown object was seen shadowing the Sputnik 1 spacecraft. According to reports, the unidentified object was in polar orbit. But in 1957, the United States nor the Russians possessed the technology to maintain a spacecraft in polar orbit, with the first polar orbiting satellite being launched in 1960. Polar orbits are often used for Earth mapping Earth observation, capturing the Earth as time passes from one point, and reconnaissance satellites. This would put the Black Knight in the category of an observational satellite. In the 1960s, the Black Knight satellite was located once again in polar orbit. Astronomers and scientists calculated the object's weight to be over 10 tons, which would be at the time the heaviest artificial satellite in orbit around our planet. Hey, what's up guys? I am Tyler with secureteam. All I can honestly say at this point is to watch the clip that was recorded directly from the International Space Station's live Ustream webpage and witness the gigantic craft that begins to appear as the ISS circles around the Earth, and the blatant feed cut brought to us by NASA that we are all so well conditioned to expect. And after a few seconds, the feed is restored, with all signs of the craft erased from sight. Watch the entire video for up-close analysis and a slowed-down view of this thing. And we've got some cool stuff to talk about. The first of which is this footage here. Check this out.
Wow! What the hell?
Now, what the hell is that? This was captured by a source who emailed me, said that he was driving through his home of Concord, New Hampshire. His wife and him had to stop at a red light, and while they were waiting for the light to change, he said in his email that this enormous object flew past them above the tree line and out of sight. He was able to capture a photo and record some quick footage here, and here is the still image he sent. I have no idea what this is. Maybe one of you guys can help me out. But he said that obviously it does not look like a glider or anything like that. Here's your basic glider plane here. It looks nothing like this. Here is a hang glider, just to throw that in there, just to kind of rule that out too. Once again, looks nothing like this object, which is moving extremely fast through the sky. And we were talking about, could this possibly be some sort of secret government project? It is definitely unidentified at this point. Playing the footage over for you again in slow motion. Yeah, I have no idea what this thing is. So anyone in Concord, New Hampshire, see this thing before, shoot me an email. Pretty cool footage. Strange video sent to me by a viewer who is down in South Florida, in Miami, who witnessed this very strange, I don't know if it's a mirage, I don't know what it is, but check this out.
Вау! А что это такое, действительно? Видишь разрыв между... Да я вижу, что это... Это не облако. Это не так. Нет, почему?
Казалось бы, это обыкновенный Валера, а это обыкновенный Алекс. И, собственно, обыкновенный Biscayne Key.
Alright, well, let me be the first to say that this is not, I repeat, not an island. Alright? This was sent to me by a viewer who was visiting the Bill Baggs Cape Florida State Park and was staying at the Key Biscayne Island. Now, he was shooting a video. Here is the map, just to show you where he was, and he was shooting the video facing south. And as you'll see on Google Maps, there is no island anywhere near this vicinity where this strange object appeared over the coastline, which, by the way, is no longer there. I spoke with the source in an email this morning. The object's gone. If it's not an island, which it wasn't, because there are no islands close enough that would show up this large, and if it's disappeared now, and it's gone, that leaves the question, what was it? Could it be a cloud? That was my first thought, but if you notice, he records this thing for a while. This was actually like an 8-minute video that he records this thing, and it never changes its shape, at least that I can see. So if it is a cloud, it's very strange that it keeps its form the entire time. Yeah, the sources and his friends who were there with him were also astonished at the object, and yeah, they sent it over, so I said I'd show it to you guys and we could try to figure it out. Could just be your standard mirage, but again, it definitely looks like a solid object of some sort, so let me know what you guys think. Here is a new image that was tweeted not even 24 hours ago from the posting of this video by a very popular DJ and musician who goes by the name Wolfgang Gartner. And he posted this image here, tweeting, and I quote, "Dude, I just saw a UFO while we were landing at LAX." Or a blimp, but let's call it a UFO. So he was landing at LAX airport We see another plane either taking off or landing, and then in the distance there, we see this very dark cylindrical object. Now, I've looked over the photo. A lot of other people who commented on his original post, some of which said that it could possibly be the Goodyear blimp, but others who said that after looking at this closely, that this really doesn't have a blimp type shape. There's something off about it. It just doesn't look like the blimp. It's black. It's a little bit too thin and long to be a blimp. So I wanted to post this here. You can check out the original tweet. So shout out to the viewer who tweeted that over to me. Now, we have a new piece of video in of what is possibly a TR-3B style craft captured silently moving over Tennessee. So check this out. Now, this was captured by Jason Bales, who lives in Gatlinburg, Tennessee, and he captured this night shot of a triangular object moving overhead with some very strange lights on it. We see these two lights at each corner of the triangle, which is typical of the TR-3B Black Manta style crafts, which, if you don't know, the TR-3B is a secret black project craft, and it's in the shape of a black triangle. Now, there have been many sightings of these, with sources describing seeing a light on each corner of the triangle, as well as a red light on the bottom center of the craft, which at times is off and at times is either solid or blinking. So it's very similar to what we're seeing here. And you'll notice at times we see other lights suddenly appear for a few moments and then disappear at one of the corners on this craft. And so we have the triangular shape, we have the lights on the corners, and we have a red light in the center, which almost precisely coincides with the testimony we have from witnesses who have seen these triangular, silent, anti-gravity ships both in our atmosphere and our skies, but also we've shown you this famous photograph taken from space showing yet another one of these objects. And yeah, wanted to see what you guys thought, so big thanks to Mr. Jason Bales. Pentagon is now running England's military UFO hunting unit and have taken it over. According to a new article on RT.com, American military intelligence is now running the UK's axed UFO hunting squad from a building in a hidden corner of London's stylish Soho Square. So this UFO hunting unit was actually a part of the secretive Ministry of Defense and was axed and shut down in 2009. But apparently now it is being run and has been reactivated by a shadowy U.S. colonel who is spearheading the unit. The group is now mainly comprised of Americans, but still employs a number of Brits to review and look over all of these, quote, real-life X-Files. The project is also now being funded by the U.S. government. According to news reports, an unidentified military official regularly visits from Washington to keep tabs on the intergalactic activities monitored from 7 Soho Square in England. The military source is quoted as saying, "There was pressure from a similar unit in the Pentagon which wanted to incorporate the MOD UFO hunting unit. It was decided to move the unit to Soho Square, and I understand that it now has a number of American personnel." So what does all this mean? Well, it means that England, as well as the US, despite this project being shut down in 2009, have clearly maintained their interest in the activities happening outside of our planet and in our skies. Very, very interesting. So not only do we have this new piece of information to corroborate the fact that there is a huge amount of interest continuing in our government, but we have another report that has just come from a NASA astronaut who has recently returned home from spending 230 days in space on the International Space Station, who has come out and publicly stated that he firmly believes that aliens are all around us and that space is, without a doubt, inhabited with other beings. And this is all according to Mr. Leroy Chiao, who is a NASA astronaut and was the commander on the International Space Station. Hey, what's up guys? Tyler here with Secure Team. I want you guys to take a look at this new SOHO image of our sun, where there appears to be what looks like a massive, multi-legged object hovering in the vicinity, somewhere in between the camera and the sun, obviously. This particular image really sparked my interest, because not only do we have this eerie, artificial-looking object, and we'll go ahead and zoom in here, but what is even more astounding about this, that sort of rules out that this is a camera glitch or something like that, sort of streaking through the sky, is that this object is displaying lights and shadows on the structure. So as we've zoomed in here, and we'll show you some different filters on this object, the object and the shadows on it perfectly correlate with where the sun is hitting it, its position in the sky. So let's go ahead and take a closer look. We see almost what looks like a probe. We see a large object with what appears to be 3 long legs coming out of it. And you can look at this and it definitely looks like a 3-dimensional structure. Furthermore, as you're looking at this, you can see the sunlight hitting this object, reflecting the leg here, reflecting the upper portion. But you can also see parts of the legs as well as the back of the main structure in shadow. As a matter of fact, and you can do this at home, if you have a camera tripod, because that's actually what this looks like. It looks like a tripod. And if you hold your tripod up above a light bulb, a lit light bulb, you will get the same exact shadowing, where the top of this tripod here is actually blocking part of the sun from hitting the upper portions of these legs here. It's blocking the sunlight. Hence, you see particularly this long leg here in shadow. And then as the legs extend out and come in view of the sun's rays, we see that they are lit. So that really drove this home for me. This is definitely, in my opinion, an object of some sort, and it's not one of ours. We currently have no objects publicly that look like this orbiting the sun. And so the question becomes, what is this? Take a look at it for yourselves. And it's kind of creepy because it reminds you of those tripod aliens in the film The War of the Worlds, where you have these massive, scary tripod-looking aliens, which honestly look really similar to what we're seeing here. Here's a picture from the film. And now that I'm looking at it and comparing it, this really does look like what we're seeing in this image. I mean, look at this clip here of one of these tripods where we have a large upper portion, we'll call the body, at the very top, and then we have 3 long legs extending out from this base, this upper body. And then we look at this image on the SOHO, and you guys tell me. And then it goes back to a lot of these science fiction films have, eerily enough, gotten a lot of things right. That were supposedly nothing but science fiction, fabrications, conjured. And then we'll see these objects in space that look a little bit too coincidentally identical to these craft or ships, and it wouldn't be the first time that we've spoken about the fact that Hollywood is drip feeding us information, a lot of fiction mixed up with some partial truths. So I will put the link to this down in the video description. Check it out for yourselves. It's right there. What is this object passing by our sun, captured in this SOHO image here? Let me know what you guys think.
Found a couple interesting things on the Sechi Corona 2A instrument. I want you to pay close attention to the 4 o'clock position. What I'm about to show you is very unique, and I am not claiming to know what it is. I'm only expressing my thoughts. And here we go. Watch things start to unfold around the 4 o'clock position. You'll see what appears to be a CME that turns into a perfect circle. But look what's behind the CME. That right there. It revealed a dark object. And there it is. And it's a very good size. So is this what was seen or that over in France a couple of months ago? Right there it is, perfect circle, about the same size. Is that a byproduct of the CME? I've never seen anything like that before in 6-7 years of observing data, but I guess anything's possible. And anything is possible. That very well could be something there that we just can't see it from Earth.
Hey, what's up guys? Tyler here with Secure Team. Well, as you're seeing in this video and you just heard, we have a very strange, what looks like a circular object that was caught next to the sun, captured by the Sechi beacon, which watches the sun, takes images, and is used for space weather forecasting. Now, this was originally found, and the footage is from the channel Mr. MBB333, and we will put the link down in the video description to his original video, in which he entitled it, "A Perfect Sphere CME Reveals a Big Dark Object Behind the Sun." And again, as you saw in the video, the sun releases these large bursts of plasma called CMEs. And this is not the first time that we have seen these large objects in these stereo views, whether it be from SOHO or whatever space beacon or satellite is taking the images. There is something. It may be one of these massive ships that we have caught in past SOHO images. And of course, I'm talking about this object here that you've probably seen plastered all over the internet, discovered a couple years ago, wherein which this large circular object was caught sucking energy and plasma from the sun before finally detaching and flying away. So this very well could be some sort of spacecraft that is using the sun's energy to refuel its ship. If I were an alien, that would be the #1 place I would go, and to fill up my brand new 2016 Chevy Corvette spaceship. So it's definitely interesting. Kudos to Mr. MBB333. Be sure to visit his channel, check out his other videos. He's always checking footage like this and has some very interesting other videos. So again, let me know what you think. Be sure to share, like, and subscribe on your way out. And stay tuned because we've got a lot more coming. So stick around and stay safe.